And today it is a joy once again to welcome Swami Yogatmananda, Minister and President of the Vedanta Society of Providence, Rhode Island, who will be speaking to us today. He's well known to many of our members, and over the years, his talks have always been looked forward to with great anticipation. Swami Yogatmananda joined the Ramakrishna Order in 1976 and received his monastic vows in 1986. After serving at the Ramakrishna Math at Nagpur, India for 20 years, he was posted as head of the Ramakrishna Mission, Shillong. He came to the United States in the summer of 2001 as the minister of the Vedanta Society of Providence, Rhode Island, where he continues to this day. He is a very popular speaker on Vedanta throughout the United States and overseas, and pre-COVID led very well-attended retreats at Vedanta centers all across the country, including his very popular retreats at Ridgely Manor. Hopefully these will resume again very soon. He also serves as the Hindu religious affiliate at Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island, and as the Hindu chaplain at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Let us welcome him today, and the subject of his talk is humor in Vedanta. Swamiji.
Yo anta pravishya mam vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayathyakhila shakti dharasvadhamna anyascha hasta charana shravanatvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. O Lord, I make salutations to thee, the glorious being. Thou hast entered into me through thy intelligent power and roused my dormant speech. Being the power of everything, thou kindlest to activity all other organs as well. Dear Sarvapriyananda ji and Diane, thank you for the nice this introduction. I hope they don't take seriously, these introductions. I am a very ordinary person, but somehow, being a Swami of the Ramakrishna Order, you get invited to speak and then you speak somehow. That is, yeah. So when some time back, I received email from Diane that, well, this is, you have to speak for this Zoom talk on Saturday. Some Saturday you can choose. Then I called Sarvapriyananda ji that what is this? How are these talks? And he said, well, they well-known scholars and philosophy people and many such, they have been speaking on these Saturday lectures. And they said, how am I don't fit into that category, And so he said, well, no, you are a good speaker. Your topics are very good, Your titles, they are very good. So I said, that will be a joke, to get into such, people of great learning and scholasticity and very good oratory. So I decided that, well, let me speak about humor, because this I thought to be a humor, to be in amongst all such people. You see, I too am getting invited. Maybe that is to say exceptions prove the rule, The rule is to invite all the scholarly and such people. So sometimes we invite such people like Yogatmananda as well. And Sarvapriyananda told me that the titles you give are so good. So something at least is good. I remembered Swami Adishwarananji had told a wonderful joke. Adishwarananji, master of telling jokes during his discourses. Every minute, if not more, there would be one joke or other. So he told, I don't remember what was the context, but then he told a minister gave his first discourse at the church. And young man, his mother was present there in that discourse. So afterwards, he asked mother, Mom, so how was it? Mom said, wow, my boy, you did so well. But just a few things, let me tell you. First thing is that you just read it, You read it, you didn't speak, you were just reading. Oh, okay, I wanted to be exact, correct, and so I took everything in the script form with me. Okay, and the second point is that you did not read it well. Oh my goodness. And then the third point is that what you read was anyway not worth reading. So, and yet she said, wow, your talk was so good. So, it is. So, at least Sarvapriyananda said that titles are good for my talk. So, it is. And this is going to be a serious talk, not a humorous talk, friends. Let us remember, it is a serious topic. The Vedanta, has lot of humorous ways of explaining truth. Humor is actually a very good way of explaining very abstruse, difficult points. And many times it is just thought that in lecture, if you give one or two humorous stories, then the people who get that all this heaviness in the head listening to all big philosophies, and especially in Vedanta, that Ghatakasha and Patakasha and all that. So the brain gets a little lighter by telling some few stories, some humor. But friends, my experience is different. Vedanta uses humor as a technique of impressing some very otherwise very difficult points, concepts, and they get explained very well through some humor. And as all this, the students of literature know that the humor is outcome of paradoxes or contradictions. When you see the contradictions coexisting, they should not, but they coexist. And then when we see that, something inside gets tickled, as it were. And then we feel a sense of joy. It sometimes expresses on our lips, on our faces, smile, sometimes as a loud side-splitting laughter or whatever. But it is, the basis is two incongruent, contradictory things coming together gives rise to humor. And Vedanta, one of the most important, or rather the most important idea is that the contradiction involved in our day-to-day experience. We experience And look at the contradiction that we experience. That, look, we say and read, it is one without second reality. And yet there is the experience of multiplicity in it. We hear that, yes, we have no birth, no death, we are children of immortality. But yet we experience death, mortality. We have birth and death. It is in these days of Corona, you say that death is always, we are seeing everywhere. So it is, and yet there is the truth that we are immortal. Then, well, we are free. The scriptures say, you read it in Swami Vivekananda's that wonderful poem, that you are ever free. And well, I am bound by all circumstances, my own capabilities and all. You know, there is bondage, and yet there is the contradiction that I am ever free. It is told that you are perfect, Purna, you are perfect, but yet I am experiencing imperfection in everything. So isn't it a great scope is there in Vedanta for humor because of this very fundamental contradiction of our experience. Vedanta, you know, is a treatise, an analysis of our experience. It is very practical something. Vedanta, for understanding, there are so many philosophical theories and all that, but it is basically just analysis of our experience, and therefore it is very practical. It culminates also in the experience of the ultimate reality. So this contradiction you see in various different texts of Vedanta is presented, and that is, you see the humor in it. That, for example, one of the great texts of Vedanta, Shankaracharya's that essay on superimposition, Adhyasa Bhashya, which is given at the right at the beginning of his very famous commentary on Vedanta Sutras or Brahma Sutras. So on these aphorisms of Vedanta, the Shankara's commentary begins with this prologue. And this prologue in itself is a wonderful, wonderful philosophical treatise, and yet presents very simple facts of life and the contradiction involved in it. It says, look, the subject and object, they are opposite to each other, and yet they get superimposed on each other. Their qualities of one get superimposed on another, and the another quality of another on the first one. So it is an intermingling of the two, and yet we know they are opposite to each other. It is, and our whole life is based on taking this contradiction to be the basis of our day-to-day life. That is what he calls, it is a loka vyavhar. How is this loka vyavhar? I am this, and that is mine, and so forth. When there is nothing like that actually, it is just superimposition, I and mine. And this is for all, even he says those people who have read lot of books, It doesn't make a difference whether you are a highly learned person or whether you are an ignorant person. This superimposition is for everyone, even if you are a very big scholar. Unless you have realized the ultimate reality, unless you have experienced that ultimate truth, your life will be just engrossed in this contradiction. And he tells that, therefore, look at the humor. He says, even if you are a big scholar, you are just like an animal. Pashwadi Bhishta Avisheshat. Very strong words have been used to show this contradiction. That on the one hand, you say you are a big scholar. You have read a lot of books and think that you are superior to other animals. But look, your life, like that of the animals, is guided by just likes and dislikes. Contradictions involved. You can see that if a cow, if you take some grass to the cow will come forward, show a big stick, and the cow will go away. Same thing with the so-called big scholars as well, isn't it? Show them some incentive, they will come forward. Show them the fear of punishment, they will go away. So look at this contradiction, that superimposing the qualities of one on qualities of something else. So they tell a very nice joke about it. One old lady, she had become a little senile also because of the age, and she was calling one of her friends that, look, you know, my daughter-in-law is going to give birth soon, but they did not tell me whether the baby is going to be a boy baby or a girl baby. And therefore, right now, I do not know whether I will be a grandmother or grandfather. Now see, the gender of the one who is getting born is not going to change the gender of this lady. It is she, whether she the baby boy or baby girl, it is going to remain the same. But yet superimposition, you know, the gender of that baby is being superimposed on her. That is how you say this superimposition takes place. So you can understand in our various experiences in life, actions in life, this superimposition is involved in it. One can read Swami Vivekananda's that book Jnana Yoga, 3 chapters on Maya, you know. See how the superimposition has been told there, that how we are calling living while we are moving towards death all the time. We call it, we are living. It is, and similar all such things, you see, that happiness, we seek happiness from various objects where it is not, and yet we cannot stop that. It is all happiness is within, and yet we run out to various objects to get it. Contradiction. So, and then it is again a very important thing you see in Vedanta, it is mentioned that although you see the variety, actually, if you look penetratively, It is one without second reality. It is one without second. But what happens is when a person who is caught in the contradictions, caught in, let us now start using the Vedanta word, caught like us in Maya. This idea that the reality is one without second, the understanding of one is as if it is a number like any other numbers, you know. So it is one against the many, like we have 5 apples and 1 apple. So like that one sees the number. Actually, what we call that kind of one is only variety of multiplicity. The multiplicity is involved even in what we call one. It is actually the one that everything is really many as well as one in this world. As well as one. You cannot say anything clearly as one. And in many my talks, I have explained it through a simple humorous story. That humorous story I had read in my primary school days, and I had laughed so much. But gradually I am understanding a deeper significance of that. And that story is in primary or middle school, whatever, the grammar class was going on. And then the teacher was testing whether students have understood this singular, plural, and all that properly or not. So the teacher asked that, hey, tell me, pant, whether it is singular or plural. And a smart student got up and said, well, on the upper side, it is singular. On the lower side, it is plural. Now, it appears to be humorous, no doubt. But if you see each and everything in this world that we experience is singular as well as plural, depending on how you look at it. In his commentary on Aitareya Upanishad, the very first verse, Atma eva eka idam agra asit. I'm not going into the details of this commentary, wonderful commentary, but it is, what it means is that in the beginning, Atman alone was asit. And then the opponent, or they were just for argument's sake, the opponents asked that, well, it is the past tense is used, means earlier this self was one, now that very self has become many, isn't it? Is that the conclusion? Shankara says there, no. It is the question of knowledge and ignorance. And now also it is one without second. But in ignorance, one sees multiplicity. And he tells, look, by what is one by the name ocean, is many by the name waves. The waves come and go. The ocean remains by the name of ocean, it is one. By the name of waves, it is infinitely many. So actually, if you see anything, even take the smallest atom, one atom, okay, but if you see the number of other fundamental particles in it, that very one becomes many, as it were. So in our experience, in ignorance, everything is one as well as many. It is not, well, you cannot say one or many there. It is just the way you look at it. The self is not like that one or many. It is, therefore, the word used is one without second. That which never becomes multiple. That kind of underlying oneness, where all the multiplicity, including what we call one and so forth, that rises from it and merges in it. It is illusory. So it is the variety of multiplicity that sometimes we call, they associate the number one. That is not what is meant by the one without second. It is so very important, as you can see, that example of the pant being one as well as many applies to everything actually. It is one as, everything is one as well as many, but the self is one without second. It is everywhere the same. So, and in Vedanta, you see many times this truth is told in a very humorous way too. Let us come to another, Kenopanishad. It is a very serious Upanishad about the nature of self, but the discussion has a tinge of humor in it. The disciple asked, that is how the question begins, that, by whose power the mind just moves? Kene shitam patati preshitam mana. By whose motivation, by whose power the mind goes forward, and how the vital power that who propels it to become the first flywheel, as it were, to power all other sense organs, by whom the speech goes forward and starts talking. Who is that? By whom all this all the sensory organs, motor organs, all, who controls them? Tell me about that being who controls them. Now, the answer that the sage gives is a bit humorous answer. The answer given is Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat. It is the ear of the ear. You have asked, who moves the ear? Ear of the ear. Mind of the mind. Eye of the eye. And so forth. The pran of the pran. Now, do you understand anything from this answer? Nothing, it is just like not telling anything. Ear of the ear. Oh, what difference then? What is the ear of the ear of the ear? You can keep on that asking. And then the student must have looked there in a way, funny way to the teacher. What are you telling? And then the sage of this Upanishad kind of further drills the knife of humor a little bit deeper and says that, you know, uh, that where the speech doesn't go, where the mind also doesn't have any entry, we don't know how otherwise to explain this to the students. And even those great teachers who told us about it, they also did not explain to us in any different way that that is how very beautifully it is told here, that the way to get to this truth is very different. It is not like, that there is, that is how the Shankara's commentary says, there is a sickle and the holder of the sickle. They are two different things. They can be separated. That, and you can ask this question, who is working with the sickle? And then it can be told, that guy, that Yogatmananda is cutting grass with the sickle. So it is, you can separately tell that. But here, what you have asked is that principle, that self, which has entered in everything as it were, which manifests as all these organs and mind. So it is not something separate. So therefore, it could be our teachers, those who explained it to us, ye nastad vyachachakshire, those who told it, they also did not tell us in any different way how in a subtle way it has been told that the way therefore is not just using your power of cogitation or intellection and such, or a lot of reading and studying the philosophical texts. That is not going to be useful for this. What is going to be useful? Connect it. Connect yourself to the lineage of teachers who have realized this truth. Parampara, the word as our Vedanta literature is Parampara. It is through a lineage of teachers. You connect to that, and thus you will get it. Like, how do you get, power in your home? The same way, you connect your home to the source of the power. It comes to you through various grades and the lines, and you connect yourself to that, your power line to that connection, and then you get power to your all the appliances. So exactly like that, let our hearts be connected to that. Otherwise, we get a feel, as it were, that I have understood the Vedanta. All it means is I am Brahman. I understood it. In Vedanta literature, a story is, a very humorous story is told about it. That, a blind man, he didn't know anything about milk. So he heard the word milk and then asked his friend, hey, what is milk? Oh, milk, it is white. Now, for blind, white or blue, what difference does it make? White. But what is white? You know, crane is white. And the bird crane, you know, not the cranes that are used in the building work and all that. They can have whatever color. The bird's crane. So it is that crane. But how is the crane? Oh, crane, you know, it has a neck bent like a sickle. Now, after so much conversation, the blind man thought that now he got some idea about milk, you know. So then he was walking somewhere where some garden work was going on, and somebody said to him, just to warn him, "Oh, be careful! There is a sickle lying there. You know, you may cut your foot. Sickle is there." And he said, "Oh, that means milk is there." So, by just a lot of reading and by using our power of cogitation and logic and all that we know about the self is like that blind man's understanding, friends. That it is the sickle is milk. The analogies are like that. And so, therefore, the way is different than just having applying the power of logic. I tell this because you know many say that it is we have understood now that I am Brahman. I have attended these wonderful lectures of Sarvapriyananda Ji on Ashtavakra Gita. Well, Sarvapriyananda Ji, certainly he speaks so well. And but by just listening to that, if we see that, yes, now I got this, it is like this knowledge, you know, that the sickle is milk. So it is, therefore, Kathopanishad says this very clearly, Naisha tarkena matirapaneya. It is, you cannot learn it just by logic. नायम आत्मा प्रवचनेन लभ्यः न मेधया न बहुनाश्रितेन. That this Atman cannot be realized by a lot of study, lot of reading, by giving lot of lectures or listening to lot of lectures, by a lot of intellect. One cannot realize it. And then there is a humor involved in the next two lines. Then who gets it? Well, who gets it? The Upanishad says, Yameva esha vrinate tena labhyah. The one. Now there is, this Yameva has two meanings there. Shankaracharya in commentary describes both these meanings to what you connect, you know. That is the beauty of Sanskrit language, how you make the connection. So that the one who takes this idea to that of realizing the self to heart, makes it the goal of life. Vrinute means that is what that person has made as the goal of life. But again, it doesn't just depend on you. It depends on that reality also. The reality also has to choose you. So both these things are beautifully indicated there. And then therefore it says, Tasyaisha Atma Vivrinate Tanum Swam. That person then realizes the self. But the Upanishad sages, they know better. And so not exactly what happens. The self, as it were, uncovers itself. It is not that you realize this self. It is just the uncovering of it. You are already that. I want to get that knowledge from somewhere. It is actually the process of uncovering, that removing the veil of ignorance, as it were. So, a very poetic and a humorous way of indicating this is there, that it is the matter of uncovering. You see many such examples in Bhagavad Gita also of humor. It is a nice, subtle humor. Sometimes there is some a little satire. Sometimes it is explained in a way that the Arjuna will get some kind of a hit, and then he will think, because that is also an idea in humor, to taunt somebody, so that the person understands, that is not exactly what it is. So that the famous example that is also in Ishavasya Upanishad. Actually, first when I read that Ishavasya Upanishad, I was just stunned to see how the contradictory these words are used there. That, well, it does not move, and yet it is faster than the mind also. While remaining stationary, it overtakes all the moving things, and then it moves, it doesn't move. Tad ejati, tannai jati. It moves, it doesn't move. It is far and it is very near. Tad dure, tad vantike. It is inside everything and yet outside everything too. So this is a humorous way how it is, because that is the nature of reality. It is to be realized by sadhana. Sadhana means put the mind into it, connect it. There are various ways, two ways that are principally spoken is not this, and iti means this. That the way of knowledge, way of bhakti, way of discernment, and way of holding on to that reality, the God. So one has to therefore concentrate. The main idea is just change your awareness. Pay all attention to change your awareness. Don't look at changing the world. A big problem that, and everybody gets this idea, we have to make the world good. If you just make yourself good, that would be good enough. But no, we have to, the attention is all outside. And I read some time back a nice joke that illustrates this. So it is that one man was quite old and disabled, so, and has some problem with the brain also. So he was every day in a wheelchair. Somebody would take him for a stroll. The wheelchair would just be taken on the seashore, and then on the beach it will be. So one day, as it was, he was being taken in the wheelchair, a seagull put the dropping on that. They don't know, poor creatures, seagulls, that they should use restroom and all that. So they put on the head. Now the helping person who was pushing the wheelchair said, "Oh, don't worry, I will just run and get some water and soap." And he ran, and this man said to himself, "Oh, what a fool he is! By the time he brings the water and soap, the seagull would have gone miles away." The attention is not, you have to clean yourself. Don't think about, cleaning the world. But our attention is like that. Let me fix this. I have to fix that fellow. What about in Vedanta? This is very important point, friends, that yes, you have to attend to yourself. Your needs is that change your awareness. That is how, we think that the other need fixing. I had told one in this context, I read a nice joke about this. Let me tell you that it illustrates this point so well, very humorously, that one lady goes to a psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever, and says, "My husband needs your help." What's happening? "Oh, he thinks that he is a chicken." So psychologist, "Oh my goodness, since how long is this happening?" "For about last 2 years." "Why did you not come earlier? Early treatments are good in such things. Why did you not come before this?" And this lady said, "Because earlier we needed eggs." So now with whom is the problem? So it is. So, but we always think the other need to be fixed, you say. It is. So this is the reason that we do not realize the truth. We have to fix ourselves. Sri Ramakrishna used to tell that God realization is the goal of life. If you do not realize God in this birth, the life is a waste. Referring again to Kenopanishad that we were, Kenopanishad tells this very powerfully, that look, if you realize this truth, then this life is meaningful. You have done something good in life. Otherwise, mahati vinashti. It is a great loss. You have missed a big opportunity. So, Sri Ramakrishna would tell a funny story that a man in a village heard that in some village, a little distance away, there would be some kind of a drama show will be going on. They call it in Bengali jatra, and a performance of some these drama in the village. And then he said that to himself that I will have to go and watch it. So now people all sit on the ground. So everybody brings some kind of a mat or to sit on. So he also took a mat and walked that distance. And when he reached there, he realized that, there is still a little time before the play begins. So he anyway was tired after walking a few miles. So he thought, let me lie down for a little while. And then he spread his mat and then lied down and started snoring in a minute, slept. And the play began. So many people came. He did not wake up. After the play is over, everybody went away. Then he woke up. Now what is to be done? Again rolled the carpet and walked back to his home. So just going and coming. The purpose to come was to see that show, see that play. That was not done. So our life goes to waste, just coming and going, friends. It is, let it not happen. Let us not just waste time sleeping like that fellow. Let us remember that the life is for realizing God. It is, and therefore we have to do sadhana. But one very important aspect of sadhana we forget about is practice of detachment, dispassion, and that practice, if it is not done, then our so-called sadhana doesn't take us anywhere. Sri Ramakrishna used to tell a story. It is a well-known story in Vedanta literatures that some friends took a boat and crossed the river and went on the other shore to a big town. And then a whole day they made merry there. They also had drunk. And then after being drunk, they said, it is evening now, so let us now go back. So they got into the boat and started rowing and rowing and rowing for, for hours they were rowing. And then when the spell of that drink that they had reduced, then they saw that, well, they haven't moved at all. They were still there itself. The boat hasn't moved an inch. Why? And they saw to their horror that they forgot to untie it from that jetty where that they had tied it to that. And then now before rowing, you have to untie it. If you don't do that, keep on rowing, you will get nowhere. So that is a humorous way of explaining this wonderful idea that dispassion is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, it is just rowing the boat. Yes. So it is, you will be merrily rowing without going anywhere. So therefore, first untie that. It is important. Sri Ramakrishna said that, it is actually look into your true nature and you will realize it. It is not outside anywhere. That beautiful story, he narrated that, look, one man in a village had that habit of addicted. He was to smoking that chillong. And so there a pipe kind of thing. So a hookah or chillong. And then in the dead of night, he thought, well, before going to sleep, let me have some puffs. And then he prepared the tobacco, everything, and found that there is no fire. So now what to do? He first thought, let me just sleep today, But then the addiction is such a thing, it won't let you sleep. So he decided, well, let me go to my friend and then get some fire from him. And so he went out taking his lantern with him because it was dead of night. So, and then tak, 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 tak. The friend was blissfully asleep. He opened, hey, what is it? No, sorry to disturb you, but I needed to have a smoke. The tobacco and all is there, but the fire, I don't have that. So I came to inquire with you that please, can you give me some? The friend said, oh my goodness, you took the trouble of coming here, just disturbed my sleep, while all the while you have this burning lantern with you. Well, friends, that is to be used. That is to be invoked from within, that the self is ever present in us. It is that is to be seen. And in the light of that, everything becomes shining. All our difficulties are solved by that seeing that the solution is within. The lantern, burning lantern is there. That is to be used. So, friends, I could tell many such stories, but I am also conscious of the clock. Also, there is one important idea about humor. Humor can explain many things, no doubt, but too much humor, it is, it can actually distract the mind. It does. It is a very powerful tool. But one needs to be an expert in using it, like a surgeon, surgeon has to use the knife carefully. How much to cut, where to cut, all those things are to be known. The mistakes have happened actually. One surgeon has cut out the good kidney instead of cutting out the bad one, So in humor also we should know how much to apply, where to apply, so that the point is driven home. The point is driven home, and people's mind will not just get into not like that. That is not how the humor should be used in spiritual discourses. The point should reach home. Otherwise, the spiritual discourses would be no different than what is called that a stand-up comedy or sit-in comedy or whatever. Yeah. So it is. So that is not how Vedanta advises to use humor, friends. I hope you will take this statement not as a humor, but somewhat seriously. So thank you, Sarvapriyananda ji, for giving me this opportunity. It was nice to see you all, nice to meet you all, and I feel very happy to remember some of the jokes and the Vedanta context associated with it. Thank you very much. May our lives be blessed by realizing the truth is where all contradictions get resolved.
Swamiji, we have some questions in the chat. Do you have time to take the questions?
Okay, one or two I can take in.
Jayant could read them out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Swamiji, first question is from Cordelia. When would a person who is worldly realize that the goal of life is God realization and not constant pursuing of worldly goals?
When will that person realize this truth? By frustration, by repeated experiences of frustration, and also by satsanga, by holy company. Both these things become very potent in making that person realize. We can see, how M. Mahendranath Gupta, with those frustrated experiences of life, comes to Sri Ramakrishna. If you read the first some description, you can see that he sees that contrasting situation. His mind is just feeling so depressed. He was actually ready to commit suicide. And then Sri Ramakrishna, the presence was peace incarnate, harmony incarnate. Sri Ramakrishna didn't have to tell it. That just that presence did the effect. So Sri Ramakrishna used to tell, to know this, one should go to holy company. Holy company is the way. But also one should be able to ponder that why am I being frustrated, and stop blaming others, I used to blame others for my failures in my exams, I used to think that sometimes even now I commit that folly, that I am a very brilliant person. And then when I would not do well in my exams, then I would blame the professors, others, situation, except I wouldn't blame myself that I didn't study enough. So one friend of mine, once I was blaming somebody that, oh, this is the reason, that professor never liked me and so forth. That is why he did like that. He told me, look, you are intelligent person. You are very intelligent, I agree. But let me tell you, you are not as intelligent as you think you are. Hey, wow, I didn't like that statement. But then I pondered over it, And then, that was a big lesson. So one should stop blaming others, introspect, and then reach out to holy company. That is the way. Thank you.
Maharaj, second question is from Sangeeta.
Yes.
How does one cultivate dispassion while making sure that one is not falling into the state of tamas or inertia or passivity towards life's situations?
Yes, a very good question indeed. It is how would you develop dispassion? You see that how running after certain things has brought pain in your life. Ponder over that, how it is like this, that you went to, say, grab a hot something, hot pot on the stove, and it burned. Now, next time you should be wiser, isn't it? You will develop a dispassion about touching the hot things. In the world we go like that, and then we get the bitter experiences. We should learn from those bitter experiences, and that will bring the dispassion. Unfortunately, we keep on committing that same mistake. There was a joke in Prabuddha Bharat many years ago, that a friend, was very early in the morning. He was not fully woken up, and then a phone rang. And instead of picking up the phone receiver, he picked up a hot iron was there. He picked up and put to the ear. And then his friend, what happened? He narrated that is what happened, you know. But then why your other ear is also blackened? He said, oh, that fool called again. So we get into these, just by one experience, we don't get wise because we do not introspect. So see that these are all causes of suffering. When we see this, as Bhagavad Gita says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. See that how all this life running after things is all painful. Now, this may, as you say, this kind of dispassion may make us lazy, as you said, tamasic, not doing anything. And no, that is where you should do karma yoga, that be enthusiastic in cutting all these painful connections and forming those connections by which you will be able to properly disconnect from the pain and connect to happiness. So that is the way one should go about it. Thank you.
So, Swamiji, thank you. That is a wonderful note to end on. And we thank you profusely for taking the time to talk to us today, and hope very much to see you in person soon. Thank you.